The stars were quiet that night. Fleet Admiral stood on the bridge of the horizon's edge and looked out at the endless dark. His ship was the pride of the human fleet. It was big, strong, and fast. But tonight, it was just doing a simple patrol along the edge of known space. Was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had served in the fleet for 30 years. He had seen wars and peace. He had lost friends and made new ones. Now he was old, but he was still sharp. His crew respected him because he was fair and brave. Commander walked up to him. She was his second in command. She was younger than him, maybe 40, with short black hair and a serious face. She rarely smiled, but when she did, it meant something good had happened. "Sir, everything is quiet," said. "The patrol route is clear. No problems." Nodded. "Good. Let the crew rest. We have a long way to go before we reach home." The horizon's edge was part of a small fleet of 12 ships. They were on their way back to Earth after checking the outer rim. The outer rim was the edge of human space. Beyond it was the territory of the Galactic Collective. The Collective was a group of alien species who had lived together in peace for thousands of years. They had beautiful cities, amazing technology, and no wars. They were gentle and kind, but they were also afraid of humans. To them, Earth was a nightmare. They called it a Category 12. On Earth, the gravity was heavy. The sun could burn your skin. The water had tiny creatures that could make you sick. The air had so much oxygen that fire could start easily, and everywhere on Earth there were animals that wanted to eat you. Humans had grown up on this dangerous world. They had become strong, tough, and sometimes violent. The Collective did not understand how any species could survive such a place, so they asked humans to stay away from their space. They were too scared to let humans in. Understood their fear. Humans were different. They were loud. They fought each other. They ate meat. To the gentle aliens of the Collective, humans must have seemed like monsters. But knew that humans were more than just fighters. They were also kind. They helped each other. They loved their families. They built beautiful things. The aliens just did not know this yet. Lieutenant Park's voice broke the silence. "Admiral, I am getting something strange on the sensors." Was the weapons officer. She was young, only 25, but she was very good at her job. She had sharp eyes and quick hands. "What is it?" asked. "A signal, sir. It is weak and broken, but I think it is a distress call." Walked to her station and looked at the screen. The signal was coming from the Lyra system. That was deep inside Collective space. Humans were not allowed there. "Can you clean up the signal?" he asked. Worked on her computer. Slowly the static cleared. A voice came through. It was high and musical like wind chimes. It was a voice. They were one of the oldest species in the Collective. They were beautiful creatures made of living crystal. They loved art and music. They had never fought a war in their entire history. The voice was full of fear. "Please, anyone, help us. They have come. Our fleet is destroyed. Our cities are burning. Please, we are dying." The bridge went silent. Everyone looked at Admiral. Ensign, the young navigator, spoke first. "Sir, the swarm, I have heard of them. They are like locusts. They move from world to world and eat everything. Plants, animals, people, everything." Frowned. "The Collective has a big fleet. How could they destroy them?" "The Collective has never fought a real war," said quietly. "They do not know how." He looked at the signal again. They was under attack. Millions of innocent beings were dying, and they were asking for help. But humans were not allowed in Collective space. If took his fleet there, he would be breaking the law. The Collective might see it as an invasion. It could start a war between humans and the Collective. Saw the look on his face. "Sir, we cannot go. We have no treaty with them. They told us to stay away." "I know," said. "If we go, we might make things worse. They might think we are attacking them too." "I know. We only have 12 ships. They could have thousands. We might all die." "I know." Looked around the bridge. He saw Lieutenant, her hand still on her weapons console. He saw Ensign, young and scared but trying to be brave. He saw the other crew members, all waiting for his decision. "They are dying," said. "They asked for help, not from us, not from humans. They asked anyone who could hear them. They are so desperate that they do not care who comes. They just want to live." He stood up straight. His voice became strong. "I did not join the fleet to follow rules. I joined to protect people, all people, human or not. If we fly away now and let them die, what kind of people are we?" No one answered, but he could see it in their eyes. They agreed with him. Sighed, then she smiled just a little. "You are going to get us all killed, old man." "Probably," said, "but we will die doing the right thing. Set course for the Lyra system, maximum speed. Tell all ships to follow us." His hands moved fast on his console. "Course set, Admiral." "Good, send a message to Earth. Tell them what we are doing and why. If we do not come back, at least they will know." The horizon's edge turned toward collective space. The other 11 ships followed. They were small against the endless dark, but they were fast and they were brave. They were human. The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace and found hell waiting for them. Admiral stared at the screen. His heart sank. The Lyra system was a graveyard. Broken ships floated everywhere. Some were still burning. Bodies drifted in the cold dark of space, and around thousands of enemy ships moved like angry bees. The swarm had come. The ships were ugly things. They were not made of metal. They were made of flesh and bone. They looked like insects with sharp legs and hungry mouths. Each ship was alive. Each ship was a monster. "How many?" asked quietly. Lieutenant Park counted. Her face went pale. "Over 4,000, sir, maybe more." 4,000 against 12. Those were bad numbers, very bad numbers. Commander looked at the Admiral. "Sir, we should run. We cannot win this fight." Did not answer right away. He was looking at the planet below. That was beautiful. It had crystal towers that reached into the sky. It had gardens that glowed with soft light. It was a world of peace and art. Now it was burning. "No," said, "we came here to help. We will help." He opened a channel to the whole fleet. "All ships, this is Admiral. The enemy is big. We are small, but we are human. We do not run from a fight. We run into it. Attack formation. Hit them hard, make them hurt." Captain Shin was the first to answer. She commanded the destroyer Iron Will. She was a fierce woman with a scar on her cheek and fire in her eyes. "Iron Will is ready, Admiral. Let us show these bugs what humans are made of." The human ships charged forward. They did not wait. They did not plan too much. They just attacked. They were confused. In 10,000 years of hunting, no prey had ever charged at them. Prey always ran. Prey always hid. Prey always died screaming. But humans did not act like prey. Captain flew her ship straight at the biggest carrier. Her weapons fired non-stop. Explosions bloomed across the enemy ship. They tried to fight back but was too fast, too wild. "They are not used to this," she laughed over the radio. "They do not know what to do when their food fights back." The other human ships followed her example. They wove through the fleet like angry wolves. They used their speed and their courage. They hit and ran. They took damage but kept fighting. Watched from the horizon's edge. His ship was taking hits. Alarms were screaming, but his crew did not panic. They fought like they were born for this. Because they were. Humans had been fighting since the beginning. They fought the land. They fought the weather. They fought the beasts that wanted to eat them, and they fought each other. War was in their blood. It was ugly, but it was also their greatest strength. Meanwhile, a small shuttle flew toward the damaged defense station. Inside was Sergeant Major and 20 Marines. Was a big man with a kind face. He looked scary in his combat armor, but his heart was gentle. He had joined the Marines to protect people, not to hurt them. "Landing in 2 minutes," the pilot called. Looked at his team. They were all young, all brave. Corporal Han sat next to him. She was small but tough. She never complained, never quit. Remember, told them, they are not our enemy. They are scared and hurt. We are here to save them, not scare them more. Be gentle. The shuttle landed inside the station. The doors opened and the Marines ran out. The station was dark and full of smoke, could hear screaming in the distance. They found the hiding in a large room. There were about 200 of them. They were beautiful creatures made of crystal that caught the light. They had thin arms and large eyes. They looked like living jewels. But now they were broken. Many were cracked and bleeding. Their blood was like liquid silver. They were terrified. When they saw the humans, they screamed louder. They had never seen humans before. The big armored soldiers looked like monsters to them. Stopped, he took off his helmet. He showed them his face. It was tired and dirty, but it was also kind. "It is okay," he said slowly. "We are not here to hurt you. We are here to help." A young stepped forward. Its body was pale blue like a winter sky. It called itself Prism. It spoke the common language, though its voice shook with fear. "You are humans from the—" "Yes," said. "We heard your call for help. We came." "But why? We are not your people. We asked you to stay away." Smiled, it was a sad smile. "Because you needed help, that is enough reason." The station shook. They were boarding. Could hear them coming, their claws clicking on the metal floor. "We need to move," he said. "Everyone follow us. We will get you out of here." The Marines formed a line around the. They started moving toward the shuttle bay, but they were faster. They came from everywhere, pouring through the halls like a flood of nightmares. They were horrible to look at. They had too many legs and too many teeth. Their eyes were empty and hungry. They did not speak. They only ate. Raised his weapon. Hold the line, protect the. The Marines fought. They fired their guns until the guns were empty. Then they used knives. Then they used their fists. They did not stop. They did not run. Corporal saw a door that they were trying to break through. If they got through, they would catch the fleeing. She ran to the door and held it shut with her body. "Go," she yelled. "Get them out, I will hold." "No," shouted. But she would not move. They clawed at the door. They hit it again and again, screamed with pain but did not let go. They ran past her. Prism looked back and saw the small human woman fighting alone against the monsters. His armor was breaking. Her blood was on the floor, but she kept holding. The last made it through, only then did fall. Ran back for her, but it was too late. She was gone. He picked up her body and carried her to the shuttle. Tears ran down his face, but there was no time to mourn. The shuttle took off. Behind them, the station exploded. On the bridge of the horizon's edge, saw the shuttle escape. He also saw the report. One Marine dead, Corporal Han. She had died holding a door so aliens could live. "That is who we are," said quietly. "That is what it means to be human." The battle continued. There were still many, but they were no longer confident. These strange creatures from the had hurt them, had surprised them. For the first time in 10,000 years, they felt something new. They felt doubt. The battle paused. Both sides pulled back to rest and count their dead. Admiral sat in his chair and looked at the damage reports. 3 of his 12 ships were badly hurt. One was barely holding together. His crew was tired. They had been fighting for hours. But they had pulled back too. The humans had surprised them. They needed time to think. Use this time to open a channel to the surviving collective ships. There were only a few left. Most of their fleet had been destroyed before the humans arrived. The face that appeared on the screen was not. It was a tall creature with gray skin and 4 arms. Its name was High Commander. It was the leader of what was left of the collective fleet. Looked at with wide, frightened eyes. "You are human from Sol system, from the—" "Yes," said. "We came to help." Help made a strange sound. It might have been a laugh. "You charged into a battle you cannot win. You threw your ships at the enemy like you wanted to die. That is not help. That is madness." "It is how we fight," said simply. It is terrifying. We have watched your ships. They move wrong, they fight wrong. You use your own hulls as weapons. You fly through explosions. You do not wait for clear shots. You just attack, attack, attack. Nodded, yes. We learned long ago that hesitation gets you killed. On our world, if you stop to think, something eats you. Shuddered, your world sounds like a nightmare. It is, but it made us strong. Another face appeared on the screen. It was Ambassador No. She was on one of the other human ships. She was a small woman with a calm voice. Her job was to speak to aliens and help them understand humans. High Commander said, I know we seem strange to you. Let me explain. Looked at her with suspicion, but did not stop her. Took a deep breath. On Earth, everything is trying to kill you. The sun burns your skin if you stay in it too long. The gravity is so heavy that if you fall, your bones break. The water is full of tiny creatures that can make you very sick. Even our air is dangerous. It has so much oxygen that fires start easily. Listened with growing horror. And that is just the planet, continued. There are also the animals. Our world has predators everywhere. Big cats that hunt in the grass, bears that can tear you apart, wolves that chase you in packs, sharks that swim in the dark water, snakes with poison that can kill in minutes. How did you survive? Whispered. We fought back. We did not just hide or run. We learned to make tools. We made fire, the same thing that burns us, and we used it to cook food and scare away predators. We took wolves, the creatures that hunted us, and we made them our friends. We turned them into dogs. Stared at her. You befriended predators. Yes, we conquered our world not by being peaceful, but by being more dangerous than anything else on it. We became the top predators. Everything on Earth learned to fear us. The bridge was silent. The collective officers were looking at the humans with new eyes. These were not just strange aliens. These were creatures forged in a furnace of constant death. A new voice spoke. It was Prism, the young that Sergeant Major had rescued. Prism's crystal body caught the light as it spoke. I watched them fight, Prism said. On the station, a human soldier held a door against she held it with her body. She was small and there were many. She knew she would die, but she did not run. Prism's voice broke. She died so we could escape. A creature from a died for strangers she had never met. Why? Smiled, but there was sadness in her eyes. Because that is also what we are. We are violent, yes. We are aggressive, but we are also kind. We protect the weak. We fight for the helpless. We cannot see someone in trouble and just walk away. It makes no sense, said. You could have stayed safe. You could have ignored our distress call. Why risk death for species who fear you? Admiral answered, because they were dying, that is enough reason. Was quiet for a long time, then it spoke again. They will attack again soon. They are regrouping. They have thousands of ships. You have only a few. What will you do? We will fight, said. You will lose. Maybe, but we will make them pay for every inch. We will make them bleed. We will make them remember that they met the humans. Prism moved closer to the screen. Its crystal eyes were shining. I have a question for you, Admiral. Will you keep fighting for us? Even though we asked you to stay away, even though we feared you. Looked at the young. He thought of Corporal, who died holding a door. He thought of his crew, who followed him into certain death without complaint. He thought of all the on the planet below, waiting to see if they would live or die. Yes, he said, we will fight for you until the last of us falls. Shook its head. You are mad, all of you. Probably, agreed. But they have never fought mad humans before. They do not know what they are dealing with. He looked at the tactical display. The ships were moving again. They were forming a new attack pattern. There were still thousands of them. All ships prepare for battle, ordered. Commander, give me a status report. Checked her screens. The Iron Will is still fighting fit. The other destroyers are damaged but can fight. The Horizon's Edge has hull breaches on decks 7 and 12, but weapons and engines are good. Good enough. Tell Captain to lead the next attack. I want the scared before they even reach us." On the surface of the Sergeant Major stood with his remaining Marines. They had landed to help defend the capital city. They looked at them with a mix of fear and hope. Looked up at the sky. He could see flashes of light where the battle was happening. He knew his friends were dying up there. "They are coming," a Marine said. She pointed at the horizon. Landing craft were falling from the sky like dark rain. Checked his weapon. It was low on ammunition. His armor was cracked. He was tired and sad. But he was also angry. Angry at the for hurting innocent people. Angry at the galaxy for being so cruel. Angry at himself for not being able to save. "Form a line," he ordered. "We hold this city no matter what." The Marines spread out. Behind them, the watched. They did not understand these violent, dangerous, beautiful humans, but they were starting to hope. Because humans did not give up, ever. The Hive Queen floated in the heart of her flagship. She was ancient, older than most stars. Her body was huge, a twisted mass of flesh and hunger. She had led the swarm for 10,000 years. She had eaten 100 worlds. She had never known fear, until today. She watched the battle through the eyes of her children. She saw the human ships charging again and again. She saw them take terrible damage and keep fighting. She saw them die and take with them. It made no sense. Prey was supposed to run. Prey was supposed to scream and beg. Prey was not supposed to fight back like this. These humans were not prey. They were something else, something the Hive Queen had never seen before. They were predators just like her. In space, the battle raged on. Chief Engineer O worked in the burning engine room of the Horizon's Edge. Half the ship was on fire. Power lines had exploded. Crew members were dead on the floor. But kept working. He was covered in burns and cuts. His hands were bleeding, but he would not stop. "Come on," he whispered to the ship. "Stay with me just a little longer." He connected 2 wires. Sparks flew. The engines roared back to life. On the bridge, Admiral felt the ship surge forward. "You beautiful madman, you did it." "Do not thank me yet, sir," his voice came through the radio. "This fix will not last. Maybe 10 minutes, maybe less. That is all I need. All ships, one final push. Let us end this." Captain Shin led the charge. Her ship, the Iron Will, was barely holding together. Its hull was cracked. Its weapons were overheated, but did not care. "Come on, you ugly bugs," she screamed. "Is that all you have?" She flew straight at a carrier. The monster ship tried to move away, but it was too slow. The Iron Will hit it like a hammer. Both ships shook with the impact. Its crew fired every weapon they had. At this range, they could not miss. The carrier exploded in a ball of fire. The Iron Will flew through the flames, damaged but alive. "That is how it is done," laughed. In another part of the battle, Pilot First Class Moon flew her small fighter through a storm of enemy fire. She was the best pilot in the fleet. Her hands moved faster than thought. Her ship danced between them like a leaf in the wind. She saw a massive carrier launching more attack ships. If those ships reached the planet, thousands of would die. Made a decision. She turned her fighter toward the carrier. "What are you doing?" her wingman asked. "Ending this," said calmly. "Tell my mother I love her." She flew straight into the carrier's open hangar. They tried to stop her, but she was too fast. She reached the center of the ship. She could see the core, pulsing with dark energy. Closed her eyes. She thought of Earth. She thought of the blue sky and the green grass. She thought of her family waiting at home. Then she pushed the button. Her reactor exploded. The blast tore through the carrier. The massive ship broke apart. Thousands of died in an instant. Was gone, but she had saved the planet. On the surface, Sergeant Major fought like a demon. They had landed in waves. Thousands of them poured toward the capital. The Marines were the only thing standing in their way. They were outnumbered 1,000 to 1. They fought anyway. "Hold the line," shouted. His voice was raw, his body was exhausted, but he kept fighting. A Marine fell next to him. Another one took her place. They were running out of people. They pushed forward. They were so close now, could smell their hunger. He could see his death in their empty eyes. His gun clicked empty. No more bullets. He threw it away and pulled out his knife. "Come on then," he whispered. "Let us see what you are made of." The charged met them with his blade. He cut and slashed and screamed. Human blood mixed with blood on the ground. Behind the lines, Dr. Minu worked in a makeshift hospital. It was just a tent in a garden, but it was all they had. Wounded Marines lay everywhere. So did wounded. Minu had never treated aliens before. Their bodies were completely different from humans. Their blood was silver. Their organs were in strange places. He had no idea what he was doing. But he learned fast. He always did. "Hold this here," he told a helper. "Yes, just like that. Now I am going to close this wound." They watched with amazement. This human was saving their people. He was tired and scared, but his hands were steady. He did not give up. "Why do you help us?" they asked. Minu did not stop working. "Because you are hurt, because I am a doctor, because it is the right thing to do." He finished the surgery. The patient would live. Minu moved to the next one without rest. In space, the Hive Queen watched her children die. Thousands of ships were destroyed. Thousands more were damaged. The humans had lost ships too, but they had hurt her badly. Worse, her children were afraid. They had never been afraid before. They were born to hunt and eat. Fear was supposed to be something their prey felt, not them. But these humans had changed everything. They had shown the swarm that some prey bites back. The Hive Queen made a decision she had never made in 10,000 years. She ordered the retreat. On the horizon's edge, Commander stared at her screen. "Sir, they are pulling back." Could not believe it. "What?" "They are retreating, all of them. They are leaving the system." The bridge was silent. Then someone laughed. Then someone cried. Then everyone was cheering. They had won. 12 human ships against 4,000, and they had won. On the surface, saw the running away. They were leaving their dead behind. They were fleeing like scared animals. He fell to his knees. His knife dropped from his hand. He was covered in blood, none of it his own. They came out of hiding. They looked at the battlefield. They looked at the dead. They looked at the humans who had saved them. Prism walked up too. The young was crying silver tears. "You did it," Prism whispered. "You actually did it." Looked up at the sky. He could see the human ships, tiny dots of light against the stars. He thought of who flew into the heart of an enemy ship. He thought of who held a door until she died. "We did it together," he said, "all of us." The swarm fled into the darkness between stars. Behind them, a small blue world still lived, and on that world, humans stood together for the first time. The galaxy would never be the same. It was slowly healing. The fires were out. The bodies were buried. The crystal towers were being rebuilt. Life was returning to normal, or as normal as it could be after such horror. The human fleet stayed to help. They could have gone home. Their mission was done, but Admiral ordered them to stay. There was still work to do. Human engineers helped fix buildings. Human doctors treated the wounded. Human soldiers guarded the streets so the people could sleep without fear. They watched these strange creatures they still did not understand them. The humans were loud. They laughed too much. They ate strange food that smelled strong. They played rough games with each other. But they were also kind. They carried children on their shoulders. They shared their food with strangers. They told jokes that made no sense but somehow made everyone smile. One day, Admiral received a message. The Galactic Collective wanted to see him. Not just him, but all the humans. They wanted to talk. "This could be a trap," Commander warned. "Maybe," said, "but we came all this way. We might as well see what they have to say." The meeting was held on the collective's capital station, a massive structure that floated in the heart of their territory. It was beautiful, all white metal and soft lights. Thousands of alien species lived there together in peace. When the humans arrived, everyone stared. The collective had never allowed humans in their space before. Now a group of them walked through their most sacred halls. Guards watched them with nervous eyes. Children hid behind their parents. Admiral walked calmly. Ambassador No walked beside him. Behind them came Captain Shin, Sergeant Major, Chief Engineer O, and Dr. Minyu. They were the heroes of the battle. They were also tired, wounded, and far from home. The High Council met them in a great hall. 12 ancient beings sat on floating chairs. They represented the oldest and most powerful species in the collective. The head of the council was a being made of pure light. It had no name, only a title, the eldest. It had lived for 1,000,000 years. It had seen civilizations rise and fall. "Humans," the eldest said. Its voice filled the room like music. "You should not be here. You broke our laws. You entered our space without permission. You fought a war we did not ask you to fight." Stood straight, he did not apologize. "We heard a cry for help. We answered. You killed thousands of. They were killing your people. Violence creates more violence. This is our way. We do not fight. We do not kill." Was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke. "Your way is beautiful. I mean that truly. A galaxy without war is a wonderful dream, but they do not share your dream. They do not care about peace. They only care about eating." A council member spoke. It was a small creature with too many eyes. "We tried to reason with them. We offered them gifts. We offered them friendship. And they ate you anyway," said simply. "Some enemies cannot be reasoned with. Some enemies only understand force. That is an ugly truth, but it is still true." The eldest was silent. The whole council was silent. Then a new voice spoke. It was Prism. The young had been invited to speak for its people. "I watched the humans fight," Prism said. "I was scared of them at first. They are big and loud and violent. They come from a world that would kill any of us in a day. They should be monsters." Prism's crystal body glowed softly. "But they are not monsters. They came when no one else would. They fought when no one else could. They bled for us. They died for us." Prism looked at. The big soldier's eyes were wet with tears. A human soldier named Han held a door against the so my people could escape. She was small and alone. She knew she would die, but she did not run. She held that door until her last breath, for strangers, for aliens who feared her kind. Prism's voice broke. "If that is what it means to be from then the galaxy has been wrong about death. Death is not just an end. It is also a sacrifice. It is giving everything you have for someone else. The humans understand this better than any of us." The council was moved. Even the eldest, who had seen everything, seemed touched. "You are monsters," the eldest said too. "Yes," agreed. "We are. We come from a world of monsters. We learn to be monsters to survive, but we can also choose who we fight for, and we choose to fight for the helpless. We choose to protect the weak." He stood taller. "We do not want your fear. We want your friendship. Let us be your shield. Let us stand between you and the darkness. You keep dreaming of peace. We will make sure you can keep dreaming." The council talked among themselves for a long time. The humans waited. Finally, the eldest spoke again. "The Galactic Collective was formed to create peace. We have always feared violence. We have always run from it, but perhaps running is not always the answer." It looked at with eyes made of light. "You are offered full membership in the Galactic Collective, not as a danger to be watched, but as protectors. Will you accept?" Looked at his people, nodded, grinned, saluted, smiled. "We accept," said. The galaxy changed that day. Humans were no longer the scary monsters from they were the guardians, the protectors, the ones who came when you called for help. Later on there was a memorial. A simple stone stood in a garden of crystal flowers. On it were carved two names, Corporal Han of Earth and Melody, a guard who died defending children. Two names, two species, one sacrifice. Sergeant Major stood before the stone. He had brought flowers from Earth, red roses that somehow survived the long trip through space. Commander stood beside him. Do you think they will ever really understand us? Place the roses at the base of the stone. Maybe not completely. We are strange to them. Our world, our history, our nature, it is all so different. He stood up and looked at the alien sky. Two suns were setting, painting the clouds in colors Earth had never seen. But they will know one thing for certain, he said. What is that? Smiled. It was a sad smile, but also a proud one. When they call for help, humans answer. Far away on the edge of the galaxy, the swarm licked its wounds. The Hive Queen was still alive. She was still hungry. She would come back one day. But now she knew something she had never known before. There were creatures in the galaxy who would fight back. Creatures who would die rather than give up. Creatures who were just as dangerous as she was. The galaxy was not just full of prey anymore. It had wolves now. And the wolves had heard the sheep crying for help. The stars were no longer dark and scary. They were full of hope, because somewhere out there humans were watching, humans were waiting, humans were ready. And they would never stop fighting for what was right. This was only the beginning.